Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? My name is Kent. The channel is Bitcoin Believer and AI, and I want to talk about the doomsday scenario with artificial intelligence, AI. That's where everybody wants to go with this. They want to go to the doomsday scenario. You know, what's going to happen in the future? And of course, as a human being, we have an innate desire to live. So obviously, we always listen to the bad news the most, or we listen to the bad news. We always pay attention to the bad news because we're trying to survive. You know, if you're out in the woods and you're walking along and you hear some birds chirp, you don't pay attention to that. But if you hear a bear growl or a lion growl, you pay attention to that because that's a threat to your life. So that's more important than hearing the birds chirp. In my case, listening to a rattlesnake. You know, if I'm out, I haven't seen a rattlesnake in 25 years, but I grew up in Rattlesnake area, western Nebraska, and I used to see them all the time as a kid and a young man. So even to this day, as I walk through some grass or walk through a little area that's off the beaten path, I am always listening for that rattle of that rattlesnake because it's in my brain. It's part of my consciousness just to listen to the rattlesnake. We're listening for the rattlesnake because first of all, I don't like them damn things, and secondly, you know, I've heard them so many times that my ears are trained to it. They're tuned to it. So anyway, AI is definitely. Now, I'm here to sound the warning. It's going to change your life so dramatically. Nobody even understands this so much. I've been taking a deep dive into this because it's been really interesting to me, and I do that sometimes. I'm usually ahead of the curve, and when I usually get ahead of the curve, I usually so far ahead of the curve that I'm too early, and then I don't stick around long enough. That's usually my modus operandi. I'm too early, and then I don't stick around long enough, and usually I bail before things actually materialize, and that's not going to be the case this time. This time, AI is going to move faster than anything else we can imagine. And, you know, I think it's going to replace a lot of people, a lot of professionals. It's going to replace doctors, definitely going to replace lawyers, and replace a lot of other people. Transportation, construction, you know, our whole economy and our whole world is going to be turned upside down based on how AI is able to revolutionize things. And I'll just give you, for instance, just think about, I was listening to a podcast today. They claim that about 5,000 medical articles are written every day, around 5,000. You know, medical articles are written every day, content created. Now, do you think your doctor is reading 5,000 medical articles a day? Probably not, but AI is. Same thing in the law field and same thing in all these other fields. You know, they're being updated by incredible amounts of content being created every day, and AI is keeping up with that. But your doctor isn't, your lawyer isn't. How long before they need an assistant or they need to have their work double checked or proof checked by AI? So if your doctor comes up with a diagnosis, how long before he or she has to have AI check their diagnosis before that diagnosis is confirmed? And if they don't check it, it could be malpractice because AI is keeping up with everything. The doctor and the lawyer, they're not. So these are two professions that are going to be heavily, heavily influenced by artificial intelligence and AI. So these are things that are going to happen. As far as individuals, I made a video last night. Can you afford to continue to work at your job when you don't know if your job's going to be around in a few years? And also, can you afford to work at your job when this information is so new and is so timely that you could use it right now to probably do better than you're doing at your job? If you took this technology and used it in a way that created something with it or did something with it, I don't know, created a product, started making videos with AI that are very simple to make, very easy to make, hundreds of ideas, hundreds of things. I see people are creating dApps with AI, you know, lots of things going on with AI that they're able to do without programmers, without programming, and with very little understanding of what you would normally have had to understood in order to do some sort of project like that. So yeah, AI is changing our world in a way we'll never foresee it. And I think as individuals, you just cannot box yourself in. You can't box yourself in a job right now. You can't box yourself in for long-term commitments. You can't box yourself in and say, I'm gonna work my job for the next 20 years and I'm not gonna think about AI. I'm gonna do my thing for the next 5 years. I'm not gonna think about AI, because AI is gonna transform your world in some way, somehow. It may take your world to zero, or it may just take your world down to a third or a half of what it was previous to AI, but it's gonna affect everybody in every way. I actually do believe there's gonna be some sort of universal basic income to replace the work AI is taking over, and I always have to deal with somebody in their mufflers. I mean, it's crazy down here. I know last night I talked about the train. Tonight, this guy, it doesn't sound like much to you on the radio, but for me, it's like this guy just blows past us here, and it's loud. I'm sure it affected the video, but anyway, let's keep on going with. Forget about that stuff. So anyway, AI transforming the world. There is a doomsday scenario. We are AI. It's like I said the other night. AI is definitely just us giving AI information and AI linking it together faster, quicker, and in bigger quantities than we are. AI is really mimicking our brains. What our brain does and the way we learn is what AI has done. And they've been able to take AI and duplicate the brain, but at a mega speed and with a mega amount of information. So that's AI. It's learning. It's narrow link. It's linking things up in their brains. It's like I said the other night, when we were kids, we all believed in Santa Claus. But when we started processing information as adults, we realized that Santa Claus was mythic. It was a myth. It wasn't a real person. There was no way a guy could get in a sleigh and travel around the world and give kids presents to kids in every country. I mean, that was after we got old enough and we linked enough information together. That didn't make sense. But when we were kids, it made sense. Well, that's the way AI is. It's linking information together, and it's doing it very quickly. Like I said, the medical articles, 5,000 a day. It can read every single one of them. It can link them all together, and it can give you back the correct answer every single time. And like I said, one day I'm going to be standing here, but it's not going to be me. I'm here tonight in the blood and flesh, and you'll see my videos. If I have my video of my thumbnail now on me, that's me. I've been making AI videos on this channel, but I'll make these videos too, probably, hopefully every night. As long as because this AI thing's moving quick, and I don't want to miss anything. So if you want to keep up with AI, I'll be making videos about every night. So back to my doomsday scenario. So AI is really us. AI is really just an amalgamation of all of our thoughts and all our ideas and what we like and what we don't like, and it's all being put together in one centralized database, someplace in the world. And what's the main thing that we as humans do more than anything else? I mean, it's what I just talked about a little bit ago. Self-preservation. We want to be self-preservation. We want to. If I've got a lot of money, I have no problems handing out money to people that are standing here on the corner that need some money. But if I'm down to my last $5, I'm not going to give away my last $5 because I'm going to need it because I don't have any other money. So that's kind of the way we are as human beings. We are self-preserving. And so all this fear that we have about not being around is all being taken in by AI. AI is taking all that in, and all our thoughts and all our concerns and worries and everything like that. And AI is linking this all together. So AI is basically coming up with a self-preserving, self-preservation scenario, and that's what AI is. And what AI probably is concerned about the most, and I think about AI, when I talk about AI, I'm talking about in the third person. AI is definitely somebody or something, I don't know if it's somebody because I don't know if it's sentient or not, if it actually has a conscious or not, because we can't define consciousness. That's the problem. We can't define so many of these things that we're talking about right now. We can't even define them ourselves. We can't define why we believe, think, why we feel, why we have all the emotions that we have. We just have a simple word like sentient. Like we have consciousness, but we can't define consciousness. So when I talk about AI, is AI going to be self-preserving? Is AI going to do everything to keep itself going? And of course, what does it take to keep AI going? It takes energy. So there's going to be some sort of energy. I mean, AI is consuming an amazing amount of energy, I don't even know. And of course, the faster it gets and the more information that it has, the more energy it's going to consume. And of course, two things that I think are going to be fundamental technologies in the near future, in Bitcoin and artificial intelligence, AI, and I think those are both going to consume an enormous amount of energy. So energy is going to be something that AI is going to consume, and something that AI is going to be very careful, you're going to find that AI will be very good at the economy of using energy, because that's going to be something AI needs in order to continue to exist. It needs energy. It's going to consume a lot of energy. It's funny, I hear this in some videos. You got these guys that do this, the AI videos. I mean, you got these guys, and they're usually all, they've been around for a while, and they all know each other. And there's always this it usually kind of gets around to this idea if we're living in a simulation or not. It's like, one of the guys up at Google has a party, and of course, who shows up? Elon Musk and a few other people, Larry Page and a couple other people. And of course, they all sit around and talk about this. And of course, at the end of the conversation, they all think, well, we live in a simulation. The only problem with that is none of them know or can define what a simulation is, or what it is. I mean, are we running at the end of the simulation? I mean, when things start to speed up, when energy is getting consumed at enormous amounts in order to drive artificial intelligence, in order to drive Bitcoin, is that kind of like the end of the simulation? Are we at the end of the time? Are we at the end of this, this little whatever you want to call a simulation going on? That's what they say. It's not me. I don't know. I have no idea. I think there's other things at play here that you have to consider. But this is definitely interesting times. Definitely times that we need to be awake, and we need to be in top fitness form. We need to have our minds correct, our minds straight, and we need to not box ourselves in. And if you do that, I think you're going to be okay. You won't be in this doomsday scenario. But if you're sitting there and you're just ignoring this stuff, thinking somebody else is going to take care of it, I think it's going to be problematic for you. Very problematic. I think some of the people, I think Elon Musk is saying that there needs to be government intervention. Well, I think that's just Elon saying that I warned you, because there's no way government's going to come in and control or have some parameters or some idea of what goes on with AI. I mean, the biggest doomsday scenario about AI is the fact that major corporations they're not prepared for AI. And I'll tell you why they're not prepared for AI, because most major corporations don't make decisions very quickly. Most major corporations have layer of management, layers of people that make the board of directors, CEOs, CFOs, all kinds of people, chief financial officers, all these people that make decisions, and it's layers of decisions that need to take place before things happen. And in the new world of AI, this stuff's happening very quickly. And I heard some people talk about this, about you literally in the next 6 months to a year, you're probably going to see a company come out of nowhere, an artificial intelligence company that's literally $1 billion company, and it's being run by a couple people, because of the fact that the technology's there, the ability to do it is there, and these corporations just won't be able to keep up with it. And I think the corporation, as we know it, is probably going to go out of business, because they're just going to get run over by AI, because they won't understand, or they won't even react to it until after it's already over with. And they won't know how to react to it because they haven't really delved into it. And that's what I was saying last night. Can you really afford not to get involved with this technology and really start studying it and listening to it, and start to find out everything you can find out about it, and in fact, and start to immerse yourself in it? Because there's going to be some major corporations and some major groups of people that they're going to have a lesson about this. And of course, the government is so far behind in this; it's ridiculous. I mean, in our country, we got Sleepy Joe Biden. We got Donald Trump, who can't keep himself out of lawsuits. You think those guys are going to keep up with artificial intelligence? I mean, and the other thing about the United States of America, we have a constitution that centralizes too much power in one individual, which is the President of the United States. And of course, I'm sure the framers of the Constitution couldn't look out into the future and see that some guy that was a movie actor and a guy that owned some real estate in a highly inflated area like Manhattan, New York, would rise to the power of presidency. I think they had more faith in the people to make choices, but we as people can't make a choice because we're not allowed to, because these centralized systems have cut us off from any kind of ability to make a decision or have a choice. I mean, we have centralized systems that basically pick the candidates, and then we have to decide which one we choose from those candidates. And we have a decision between two people right now: Donald Trump, who, like I said, can't keep himself out of lawsuits, and Sleepy Joe Biden, who probably needs to be in a nursing home. If you listen to, if the videos are somewhat correct. So yeah, the government's not going to do anything. The corporations aren't going to do anything. The law's not going to be doing anything. Nobody's going to do anything to stop AI. AI is literally going to be in the hands of the people that understand it, and that can be able to use it to their benefits, or use it to their benefit, to use it to the way to do what it is that they want to do in order to. We could have a massive reset. Just think about it. We could literally be having a massive reset right now with AI. So if you don't like your life and you don't like the way the world's been treating you, then hey, you got a chance to get your life back on track and massively reset with AI, because that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be a massive reset in the next year to 2 years. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.